Hello, everybody, and welcome to our brand new special 30-day transformational program for the Hebrew month of Elul on behalf of a rectified world. Rectified, upgraded, transformed, beautiful, healed, spectacular, empowered life and world. Okay, so we are trying something new. If you saw me an hour ago, you saw that I was less than an hour ago, I was testing it. We just got this new application called StreamYard, which allows us to stream into multiple platforms. So really looking forward to getting your comments. I can see some of the comments. I'm just looking at the StreamYard screen, so I'm not on Facebook or YouTube, but I'd love to hear from you during, after, whatever. About how it's working, if something's not working. So you should be able to use comments, leave comments. You should be able to give StreamYard permission. It should say that on, at least I know on Facebook, I think on YouTube also, it will give you a link to click so that you can give StreamYard permission to display your comments, which means that I will see your comments, and also I can, if I want everyone to see a comment, you can always tell me it's private if you don't. But I can click a button and then it gets displayed on the screen. And then we can all see what we're talking about. It has really cool features, which I'm excited to learn about. This is the first time using it. It's also the first time for me, ever doing a daily program, a 30-day program. And why am I doing it? Because it's so obvious. We're in the most critical, potential rich, transformational, challenging, opportunity-laden times that ever were. These are prophesied times. The Torah, the blueprint for creation, has talked about these times since the very beginning. In fact, at the very beginning of the Bible, of the 5 books of Moses in the Hebrew version, the premier commentator on the Torah, on those 5 books of Moses, says at the very beginning, it says God, in the beginning, Bereshit, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth, the heavens and the earth. And it says then that the world, Olam Haisa Tohu Vabo, that the world was formless and void, that the spirit of the Creator was hovering over the face of the deep. What is that? And what does the commentary say about that? That's the spirit of Melech HaMashiach. That's the spirit of the Redeemer and redemption. The world was created for these times. We're in transition, and we're about to enter a new year. That's happening, and it's the 30th day of Menachem Av, which is it's the 2-day, as it's called in Hebrew, Rosh Chodesh, the head of the month, leading into the month of Elul. Before I say any more, I want to say that no matter what your background is here, you are totally welcome. You are meant to be here. That Torah is for everyone. Redemption, Geula, is for everyone. Everyone. And if you feel called to it, know that your purpose, you are being called, because everybody's here with a purpose. There's no question about it. Everyone in this time who's alive is soul in a body, is here to participate in the redemption process. But if you're called to this kind of teaching, you're meant to influence a certain segment of the population that you are uniquely connected to do a certain brand of the work that you are uniquely called to do. And it happens through your life. Okay. I see a few comments, Mia, and anyone else. This is also streaming on YouTube. So if anyone wants to watch YouTube, I know some people are not extremely excited about Facebook, and you can leave comments on YouTube, but the truth is that I'm going to be giving you, so here's going to be the format. Each of these days, I'm not doing one on Shabbat, but I am planning to do them 6 days a week, and I'll give you some homework, which we call fairy dust for Shabbat. This is meant to be an interactive program. Again, I've never done anything like this before, especially not public and, and free for all, but the times are so critical and it's so important. So I'm going to be doing the format that there could be a deviation, but what I'm planning to do is to share some insights that I want you to integrate. Because when you have a bigger frame, a bigger context, like the picture on the top of the puzzle box, you will be able to put the pieces together in a completely different way. And then I would like to do a short visualization, hopefully with most, or maybe all, at least most of these calls, visualization prayer. And then I'm going to give you that fairy dust, that assignment to do. And if it's totally your choice if you want to do it. You don't have to do it. You're not in school. not going to take away your toys or anything, but the reason that I'm giving it to you is because your life changes when you actually take what you know on the road. So these are going to try to keep it very simple. But I really strongly suggest that you work with it. And if you're willing to share your questions, your results about the fairy dust, the homework on Facebook group, assuming that you're on Facebook, that would be awesome. And I will see those, and I'm going to do my best to interact there, time permitting. Okay, so let's get started quickly. What is the month of Elul? We're leading into Rosh Hashanah. If you want to know what kind of changes are available, notice the past year. What's it like? Does it look like the year before? Did you ever imagine that you were going to be here? Now, it's been noticed that this past year was in the Hebrew calendar 5780. The number 8 represents the supernatural, the messianic, the redemptive. So it was the first year of an accelerated process, a supernatural process. And now we're going into 81. So as that comes in, who even knows? On Rosh Hashanah every year, a giant batch, a giant flood of brand new light comes into the year on that day. Really, it's 2 days. And how we have positioned ourselves, how expanded our own vessels are, our mind, our hearts, how ready we are, how aligned we are. That is going to be what determines how much of that light we can download into our own system, then to unfold it throughout the year. So the light that we're working with right now, that we've been working with, our potential that we've been working with, is from last year, Rosh Hashanah. And we're still unfolding it. And this is true whether you're Jewish or not. It doesn't make any difference. Rosh Hashanah is the birthday of humanity. Adam and Eve were created in that day. We are all cells of that cosmic body. Everybody matters. You matter. You matter to everyone. Okay? Whether they know it or not, and whether you know it or not. So to the degree that you'll step up, that's the degree to which people can participate in this, either this, 30-day event or other similar, whatever, in this process. That's the degree to which we create a collective vessel through which this light can be received and integrated. Okay, so I want to say a little bit more about the month of Elul. Tomorrow is actually the first day of Elul, but this is the beginning of Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh has the same word, if you notice, as Rosh Hashanah. Rosh means head in Hebrew, but it also, in the Torah lexicon, Rosh, the head of something, just like your head contains a brain, which really has a connection to every part of the body, and it's like the command and control center of the body. So the same with Rosh Chodesh, the first day of the month. In this case, the month of Elul, Rosh Hashanah, the first day of the year. It contains within it everything. So it's not just the first, but it's the core of, the essence of, the seed of. So we are preparing today to enter Elul. Tomorrow show up, we're going to be blowing the shofar, which we do every one of the 30 days of Elul. I'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how you can activate your true self, the essence of you. So today I want to lay the foundation, basically, talking about the idea of vessels and how the light that you're going to be able to receive depends upon the vessels that you have, this expansiveness of your vessels. So bring it down. The core of the work of Elul, of the potential of this coming month, is and our divine instruction for this month. It's a hinge month. It's a swing month in which we have special divine power and support and closeness and intimacy. I'll speak much more about that tomorrow and going onward. But God takes a different attitude toward us in this month, a much more close and intimate one, a much more warm and supportive one even than usual. Because in this hinge month, we are given the special power, the command, the opportunity to look at the year that's gone by, and to each day on another level of the 30 days, and to look at where we weren't aligned. Where was it that there was an opportunity that we didn't step into, that really we know we could have, should have, would have? What was it that we believed? Or let me make it personal. What was it in your case that you believed about that, or that you were afraid of, that kept you from stepping into that? Or where is it that you perhaps shouldn't have done something, that you see an effect based on something that you actually did that you'd rather not have? Let's say you hurt someone's feelings. Let's say you, I don't know, betrayed someone. In whatever way humans do that. So that creates broken vessels. And those broken vessels take a shape that the light then comes in and it kind of repeats, like it goes like Jello in a mold. It repeats in a kind of broken way. So you want to look at the past year. We'll do this for the next 30 days as intensively as you're willing, and look at where, again, in these two ways, where there was an opportunity that you could have stepped into that would have made a big difference for yourself or others, and you didn't, and why. It's always going to have to do with your beliefs and the emotions that they trigger. Always. You can write this down, your beliefs and the emotions that they trigger. And what is it that you may have done? So what you didn't do, what you neglected or failed to do, what you did do that you wish you hadn't, ditto. What was it that you believed? What was it that you were trying to accomplish by whatever action you took? For example, if you drink or eat or shop or yell or whatever inappropriately, not to a good effect, then there's a reason why you're doing that. Like everything that we do is propelled by our entire inner system, from our subconscious beliefs, even our DNA, to the emotions that we might not even be aware of that they cause, to the way that our energy field gets clogged when you wake up in the morning or in the afternoon. You feel completely irritated and you can't process anything. It's because your energy field is clogged. It's clogged with charge, information, emotions, whatever it might be. These are mostly not conscious. And most of the time when we get into trouble with things that we do, it's because we were not conscious of the entire under the surface wiring until it popped out into our world. So this is part of changing the vessels, to become conscious, to become aware, hyper aware of everything that's driving you. And I hope that this 30 days will be a discovery process that will assist you in uncovering and revealing the name of the Facebook group that we're going to be running these in. Right now it's on my file page also, for just the first two. After that, just to let you know that it's happening after this week, you'll join the Facebook group and watch from there. So that's because I want to have discussion. I want to support. I want this to be a community where we can collectively move and create. And in the process of the 30 days, and bring your friends, the process of the 30 days, we don't know how far we can go. Why? This is the next thing I want to say. In Elul, it says about Elul, I'll probably talk about this more tomorrow, but it says the king is in the field. The Melech HaMelech Basadeh. What does that mean? The Melech is the king. And a king in the Torah, the way God is king, is not a dictator or a ruler like the kings in history, by just took everything and did what they wanted and abused and exploited people. That is not the Torah concept of a king. That's a moshel, a ruler, a dictator. What's a melech? A melech is a universal soul, or in God's case, the universal one that is the source of everything. So it's a holographic relationship. The king is accepted by the people because the king is like the super brain of the entire organism, and the people, in accepting the king, strengthen the king, because each person is a part of the king. That means you. But how much are we aligned with that? Are we aligned with that reality? Do we wake up in the morning? Do you wake up in the morning and say, I'm part of the king? Maybe you do. That's great. If you don't, by the end of the 30 days, if you participate, you will. That's going to change your life. And the way that the melech, it says, Ein melech below am in the Torah. There's no king without a people, for this exact reason. And when you accept the malchus, the kingship of the king through your free will, think about it. God is the creator. It says in the authentic Kabbalah and Hasidus that if God is speaking the words of creation into existence, like let there be light, let there be, let there be, let there be, and all the other let there be's that are included, embedded in the 6 days of creation, it says that if he would stop saying those words for one instant, the let there be's, God is actively bringing the world into being now and now and now. If he would stop for one instant, everything would disappear. Not just it would go away, the past would disappear. History would disappear as if it had never been. That's how invested the melech is. in this world. That's how super powerful. When we say that there's nothing but God, that's real. But even so, God gives you free choice to say yes or no, to say, I don't believe in you. or I believe in you and I don't care. And that's because this relationship must be a relationship of love ultimately. Now, there's a training process. We can't just each do our own thing, because if every organ and cell of the body each did its own thing, I mean, there's a name for that. There's an illness like that, the dread disease, where the cells just go and replicate themselves without regard to the whole. That doesn't work. That's what the Torah is for. There are many levels of Torah. On the most external level, it's to bring coherence, cohesiveness, sustainability, union, and a platform for revealed divinity, for a world of heaven on earth. The deeper levels, the mystical levels that I particularly learn and teach, are designed to create the inner transformation, the revelation of the soul and the body. So that's what we're talking about here. Now, in these 30 days, we want to make the vessels for that. So again, we're starting by looking, this is day 1. We're starting by looking at, it's the 30th of Menachem Av. Elul starts tonight, but this is Rosh Chodesh Elul, meaning the seed of Elul is already happening. This day is connecting Elul to the rest of the year that went by. Now, Elul, we correct. We look at the past. I'll explain more about that again in a moment. And we also are creating a platform for the future. So in rectifying the past, we create a 0 point. We create an open space in which newness can occur. So when we carry the past into the present and then into the future, like I'm just saying this, this actually, thank God, it's not the case for me, but I know it is for many people. So if someone would say to themselves, in the past, I was a person who was abused, or I was heavily criticized. Okay, that I might have been. I was heavily criticized and I failed and I felt weak. And therefore now I'm still suffering from that because I was an abused person. And therefore I'm going to carry in the future, I'm going to be a person who always has been suffering from being abused. We're literally piling our present infinite moment with the past. And the past, every day of the past that we're holding, that is weighing us down. So when we look at this year and we have divine power, Melech Basadeh, the king is in the field with us in our, not in the palace surrounded by legions of guards, and you need, some very special connections to get an appointment for next year, and then you have to walk through the inner chambers and be searched. No, in Elul, in this hinge month, where we have special power to rectify the past, create a 0 point, and open to a completely new future. For real, you guys, for real. For real, this is real. We need to feel that it's real. That's part of aligning the vessels. We need to act as if it's real. We need to live into that reality. So now the king is coming into the field, starting tonight, coming into the field, meaning the place where you're digging and you're dirty and you're sweaty and you're in your old clothes and you're just doing your thing. Wherever wherever you really are, God's coming out for 30 days to greet you with a smiling face. It says this in the Torah, with a happy face, a welcoming face, and a smiling face, saying, come, my child, my love. I'm here to help you. We're in this together. This is a cosmic building process. We're so close to the end. I need you. I gave my power to you. My free choice resides in you. I'm not forcing you. I might give you some good hints here and there, but it's up to you, because that's our relationship. God says, I created the world in such a way that you have a relationship of freedom, free choice. It's a better idea to align with the purpose for which your soul keeps coming down into your body, and to align with the glorious destiny of a world of heaven on earth, but it's up to you. And that's what I'm personally here to support. So I made a few notes for myself. Let me just see where we're at, and then I'm going to do a little visualization. And then I wanted to say one more thing about this. We'll do a mini visualization, and I'll tell you again the fairy dust. And I'm asking you, if you want to get more out of this, then you want to post about your fairy dust, your homework, on the Facebook group. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, you can't post there. I'm not used to YouTube. I'm used to being a consumer of other people's used to YouTubes, but so I'll try to check the comments there, but it's not interactive like in our group here, so that would be preferable. So I want to say another thing about lights and vessels. When a person is growing in a linear way, like you see people, you know, let's say high school, you know, there's the popular kids that are, and the smart kids, and they just get there and it's kind of seems kind of easy for them. It's usually not actually easy for anybody, but there are people who are more, things are more easy, or let's say there are areas in your life that are easier for you than other areas. So there you could expect to grow in an ordinary way. We could even call it successful, but the success is that you meet the standard, you know, maybe you exceed it a little bit, maybe you're at the top of your class. But that's not transformation. I'm not saying it's not a great thing. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it when it happens, but it's not transformation. Transformation is a different process. It's like pulling back the string on the bow to allow the arrow to shoot forward. It's like moving the arm back to throw the ball. It's really like break down, break through. It says in the Torah that a tzaddik, a holy, righteous soul, or one or few, or you know, one main one and 36 hidden ones and whatever, you know, Kabbalah says about it in a generation. These unique holy souls, that a tzaddik who's already born righteous falls 7 times and gets up. And that 7 represents the cycle of nature, the 7 days of creation. And then he gets up. What does it mean that he falls? He fulfills his potential in that ordinary cycle, falls, then gets up and starts from a new platform, a new cycle of 7, and then falls, and then starts from a higher platform, a new cycle of 7. That is the pattern of breakdown, breakthrough, breakdown, breakthrough. So if you're upset or frustrated that you seem to have been derailed in the past year, your fairy dust, I'm just repeating, fairy dust is my word for homework. Fairy dust is homework. We sprinkle some fairy dust, some magic on our lives by doing this work, doing this exploration. So the fairy dust will be to look at that. But when you break down, it's not because there's something wrong with you. I'll talk about this more in the future because I want to make this super long. I'm going to try to keep these shorter than now, but this is the first one. I hope I'll succeed. I might not, but I'll do my best. Anyway, so when something breaks down or you're derailed, that is not because you're not meant to get to your goal. It's because you're not meant to walk to your goal. Your goal is here to entice you forward as a human being, because all the steps along the way to your goal, where you fall and hopefully get up, fall and hopefully get up, or at least from now on you will, and keep moving forward, it's designed to stop you, to help you perceive those limiting beliefs, those unaligned emotions, that self-talk, those habits, whatever it is, those vessels that have kept you from reaching your potential in the past. That's what Elul is about. So every time you get stopped on your way to what you desire, again, it's not because you're not supposed to have what you desire. It's because it's not only about that. It's about your development. It's about making vessels. So if you wanted to take notes, which I advise, get a little notebook and keep your notes for the 30 days. That would be really helpful in addition to sharing on Facebook, or even if you don't share on the Facebook. So you want to write creating the vessels, breakdown, breakthrough, transformation. That's what transformation is. Ordinary people do not have the power to transform. In our times, none of us is ordinary, and therefore we do. We have the power of those great souls of the tzaddik to take darkness, to take the derailing things about us, and to up-level them until they can be channels for infinite light. That's unique for our times. Don't think that people were doing this kind of work, ordinary people, ordinary, extraordinary people like you and me. In the past, this is new because we are in a new phase and we're able to go in to the roots of things now, which we were not allowed to do in previous generations, because we have the power to uplift things from the core, to transform and transmute these unconscious pockets of motivation and pain and trauma and shame and guilt and judgment and fear that was downloaded into humanity in the Garden of Eden at the fall. We're going back to the garden, but in a way different way, a way higher level, as co-creators. So now it's time to pull those things out at the root. Look at them, give them some love, understand that they're divine, relentlessly work with them. So here's the fairy dust again. If you didn't hear this whole video, watch this whole, I suggest that you watch it from the beginning, because this is interactive work. This is not just fluff. We're gonna move. Whoever wants to is gonna move with me. and we're going to look different in 30 days. Life is going to look different in the 30 days. And that's when we're going to download a new light with new vessels. So the purpose of Elul, to rectify and complete the past and to prepare for the future. That's what Elul is about. What's the future? Coming in Rosh Hashanah. What's the past? Your past year, which will be a reflection of all your previous years also. Whatever you've got going on, you've got going on. You know, whatever you've transformed, you've transformed. Whatever you haven't, it's still there. And it's your purpose. It's a big part of your purpose. So we're going to go back and look at any interaction, any situation, whether it's an interaction with yourself, other people, something that you wanted to accomplish, something that you wish you hadn't accomplished, whatever it is, you're going to do an inventory. This is an inventory of the past year. Now, when a person owns a hardware store and he does an inventory, he's going around to see, or a grocery store, he's going around to see each of the items and to see, you know, are they neatly stacked? Do I have enough? Did I run out? Do I have too many? He's not thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I have so many cans of beans. I can't believe I'm such a failure. Why did I? Or they're all gone. No, he has a notebook. I want you to have a notebook. He goes and he looks at everything. He counts, he writes, he makes his comments, he makes the changes. That's the kind of inventory Elul is meant to be on one level. Tomorrow, again, we're going to talk about revealing the true self and about connecting to the King in a relationship of love. Right now, we're talking about lights and vessels and taking the inventory. So you want to go through your past year, at least the main events, write them down. You can just start by making some notes, you know, that relationship with the Jody there, and that, you know, my relationship with one of my kids, or, you know, I meant to start this project and I kept saying I was going to and I didn't, and, you know, or on my spirituality, or, you know, I walked into a store and I took something that wasn't mine. You know, I betrayed a relationship, whatever it is, or you know, it's what you didn't do, what you did do. Just make notes and then look and see what you were thinking, what you believe about what you believed about that. And then I want you to just try on. You don't have to believe me, but I want you to try on like a coat, see if it fits, take it off if it doesn't. That this is part of your divine purpose, that a tzaddik falls 7 times and rises. And that's what you're meant to do as well. So if this is part of your divine purpose, and here's where we're going to go into the visualization in a moment. This is the main question to answer publicly. You can share about anything you want on the Facebook group, Release Your Soul Light. But the main question is, can you think of a time in your past when you failed at something, or when you were challenged by something, or when you fell or something broke, you know, that you found out later on allowed you to grow in a very extraordinary way, in a way that benefited you from that point on. In other words, can you look in your past, not just necessarily in the past year. Now, this is just to illustrate this paradigm of breakdown, breakthrough. Think about, try to find some time in your life when you were really, really not good at something, when something really challenged you, when it was so hard. And you either had to push yourself through all that fear, shame, you know, insecurity, or you failed to. And then you learned from it. And then it changed things on the other side. We're looking for where you had a challenge, a wall. You either fell back or pushed through. And either way, it changed you on the other side. Where did you grow from some kind of adversity or some kind of fear or some kind of challenge? Where did you grow? How did you grow? And what did it do for you as a whole? So we're looking at lights and vessels. Okay, that said, let's get to a short visualization, if you're willing to hang with me and do that. So I'm asking God, which most of us observant Jewish types refer to God by a very special name, Hashem. I've taught this to all my students. You can try it on, Hashem. It means the name. It refers to the 4-letter, holiest, most supernal name of God. And that we don't say literally, but we say Hashem, which means beyond the creator of heaven and earth. So Hashem can change reality. Hashem is both way beyond and right next to us, right with us in our hearts. So I'm asking Hashem to be with us throughout this 30 days, us together, and each and every person who participates live or by replay or by any way, and to answer prayers. So I'm going to invite you to hold your prayers in your heart. I'm going to just take a few moments just to allow everybody to add a prayer to our collective space here. And know that the King is in the field smiling at you. And let's also take a moment, and each of us right now, ask Hashem, ask God, creator of heaven and earth, and way beyond, to answer all of the hearts of the prayers of the hearts of everyone in this collective for the revealed good. To say yes to everyone's prayers for the good in ways that are good, safe, harmonious, and beautiful, joyful, uplifting. And to help us align our vessels that aren't in harmony with that request, with that prayer. To expand and align and rectify, upgrade, complete our vessels so that our prayers can be answered in joyful and miraculous ways. Without further delay, please Hashem. And now I'd like you to just relax your body. It's going to be short. Feel the chair that you're sitting on, the surface you're on, pushing up against you, supporting you so you can totally let go. Really feel the support of the earth underneath you. And underneath that empty space, all supported by Hashem. You're inside of Hashem, in Hashem's hands, in Hashem's heart, in Hashem's being. You exist as a drop of godliness, a drop from the ocean, surrounded by and clothed in, bound to, expressed through, constricted by your personal story, your personality, your brain wiring, your unconscious, subconscious, conscious, and superconscious minds, all moving to one degree or another within your physical body, your energy body, your relationships, and your life. So I want you to just take a moment and perceive, imagine that you're floating in a vast ocean of Kedusha, of holiness, of divinity. It's truly infinite, so just breathe into that. Relax your body, allow your shoulders to drop. Imagine your feet, picking up your feet and leaning back in that water, in that ocean, so gentle. And you're floating. And there's no limit anywhere. Just infinite love. Infinite intelligence. Infinite presence, infinite power. Just be there I'll be silent for 10 or 15 seconds. You can just feel that floating. Feel that love, allow for it. If you don't feel it, just allow for it. It says, the Torah says, open to me. God says to you, to his beloved, open to me like the eye of a needle. I will open you like the opening of a great chamber. Open to me like the eye of a needle. And I will open you like the opening to a great chamber. As you're floating in the sea of divine love and divine presence, divine power, divine infinity and eternity and oneness and union. Offer all emotions that you feel. Send them back into this ocean Anything out of harmony, just allow it to melt in the warmth. Just let it be. And now just notice or imagine that you have the option to expand your consciousness, to create new vessels there. Expand and transform your heart, your deep emotions, your traumas. You don't know yet how you're going to do it necessarily. But knowing that as you expand, you can internalize more of this ocean of divinity. Bring it into your personal story, into your body, into your relationships, into your reactivity, your core emotional well-being, into your awareness. There are many, many, many levels of reality. How many of them would you like to be aware of and be able to move within, be able to activate? And if you could do that, what would be the dream or dreams that you would like to bring into reality in the coming year? Assuming that the past does not have to equal the future anymore, what would be the dreams or goals that you would like, that you would long, that would be worth it for you to bring into reality in the coming year? Bring those into prayer now. The King is in the field. We're a holographic community here, community of souls, connecting with the King who contains all souls and way more, is the source of all. Each of us holds a piece and is connected to the whole. And our piece is part of the whole and necessary to the whole. So what are your deep dreams and goals? Bring them into prayer, into Hashem. And then we're going to ask one question before we end the session today. And that is, what vessels, what shifts in belief, what would you have to believe, change, upgrade, let go of, or commit to in order to make of yourself an aligned vessel for the light that will allow that dream, those dreams and goals, to become reality in the coming year. Just hold a space for around 30 seconds so you can get a little inkling. You can watch this again on YouTube or on Facebook right here. And share with us on Facebook too. What dreams and goals, what shifts, changes, upgrades, rectifications, amends also. What would you need to let go of, change, shift and upgrade? Rectify or commit to in order to become an aligned vessel for the fulfillment of our souls and your heart's desire for the good. You are a tuning fork. You are a dial in the cosmic radio. You're a station in creation. Are you receiving with clarity, or is there static I'm going to say we all have static. What is it that you want to receive? What are you going to do about the static? Now's the time. This is the place. Let's take a deep breath. Again, state it in prayer. And then please again ask that everyone who's part of this collective, that Hashem fulfill all of the desires of our hearts and souls, the good, help us align the vessels in gentle, loving ways. Gentle, loving, and oh so powerful and divine. All right, so your very best is to work on this and to identify, to take notes of where things need to be rectified, opportunities missed, mistakes made, consequences, what needs to be rectified and or completed from this past year, and to identify some event in your life where you were derailed or challenged and you either at the moment or after the fact worked with whatever caused the derailment or whatever was needed to bust through the challenge and how it changed you. How it changed you. Remember that the pattern of true transformation, that's what we want to evoke now, is breakdown, breakthrough, pulling back the bow, shooting the arrow to the target. That's what we're going for. Okay, this is way longer than I planned for. It is the first one. We'll just have to see where the flow takes us, right? We're not in this alone. Hashem is guiding this. So feel free to listen to the replays, bring your friends, and I want to see you posting. I want to see you sharing. Do your part to create the collective vessel, co-create. And we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Lots of love.